y'all, welcome back to Harmon Homestead. We're in the garden early this morning and I wanted to give you an update on everything that we have growing. So let's start with the cattle panel tomatoes. I told you that we had blight on these. I noticed it, I pruned it. We still have a little bit. If you can see here, there's still a little bit, okay? But I sprayed this with copper on this side. Now, it's doing okay. It's doing good. I have not fertilized anything because of the heat. I didn't want it to hurt or stress the plants, and everything has pulled on through. Guys, I want you to see the tops. Look at the top of the cattle panel. I've never in my life. And I will say, for the first time, I've never seen tomato plants in 98-degree heat, the actual temp 98 degrees, bloom and set blooms, but they did last week. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I watered the tar out of these plants. So everything is doing beautifully here. We've got okra that I need to pick this morning. Our peppers are doing well. I weeded out this garden a little bit. The Christmas pole lima beans down here, I want you to see this. I have never planted these before. That was a first for me this year. I have planted bush lima beans, the Ford Hook bush lima beans. Guys, I didn't know that they would be this big. I mean, this is insane. And I'm sure some are ready to pick, but I have squash plants right here. Now, squash, beans, they're beautiful companion plants. They love to be planted together, and apparently they thrive. But it's to the point I'm gonna have to get this squash out because you can't even see my okra here. And the peppers, I mean, everything has just done phenomenal. So I'm sure I have pole beans ready. I can't get them, these lima beans, so we're gonna have to work on that probably this afternoon. It's been raining every day here in Alabama. Now my okra, I'm gonna show you. Let's get down really close. This is Clemson spineless okra. You really don't want it any larger than that right there, and pick it. You want it very tender and young. And guys, when this stuff blooms like that, it's a beautiful bloom. The bloom will fall off within just a couple of hours. You'll have okra within 3 days. 3 days and it'll be ready to pick. We have so much here. Now, what do I do with my okra? What I'll do is I'll cut it up. I'll put it in like half cornmeal, half flour, shake it around in a bag, put it in the freezer, and I've got pre-breaded okra to put in the pan. I've tried freezing okra without pre-breading it, and it just does not turn out that well. So let me show you what we did last week. So if you can see here, I'm in snake boots out in my garden. We were standing by the corn last week looking at it. It should be ready this weekend. And I was walking along beside it. We've let the weeds go, but my husband did weed eat in between the rows. That way I could walk down through there and see. And honestly, it's to the point with all of this, I mean, I can't keep up both gardens. I can't, not by hand. And especially since this one started producing, I cannot. And we were down there walking and looking, and right beside my left foot was a timber rattlesnake. I don't know how I saw it. It was, guys, that was terrible. So now I'm petrified to even walk in the garden. You just watch your fingers, toes, watch it, because they're out, this heat, they love it. You know, it is what it is. It's just part of the territory. But last week, I decided to pull up my bush beans here. Why did I do that? They were not producing as much as I wanted them to. They were still blooming. I threw fertilizer to them. They were still blooming. But later on in their life cycle, they'll get like gnarly and curly, and it's just not what you want. So I pulled them up, and it was last Thursday. Today is Wednesday. I said, I'm going to plant field peas. Now, I told you I planted one 8-foot row. I saw one germinate last week, and I said, this is going to work. I don't know how, but I feel like this will work. So last Thursday, I planted 3 30-foot rows of field peas and a row of Clemson spineless okra. I want y'all to see this. Look at all the field peas. Now, I have watered this with a water hose. Otherwise, the temps every day, it has not gotten the highs below 87 degrees. They germinate. So if you live in a really hot area right now, if you live in a hot area, go on and plant something like that. If you've got a long growing season, because it will germinate. And there's the rows, guys. Look at that. Now, I told you that I was gonna get my husband in here with a tiller. I took the hoe and I pulled up these bush bean plants. The soil was very loose up under them, and I literally just hoed out the rows. There was no tiller involved. So you do not need a lot of fancy equipment to plant some seeds in the ground, okay? Not a raised bed anyways. I mean, look here. Look at that. So we're gonna these are pink-eyed purple hull peas. We're gonna have those as a fall crop, and I think the way I squeezed it in, we'll still be able to plant something else here before first frost. Now, let me show you the first thing that germinated. I couldn't get over this because I have the worst time with okra. Everybody knows okra loves heat. Look at this. I planted that last Thursday. It germinated by Sunday. Look at that. Now I'm gonna have to go in here and thin this out. But guys, okra loves heat. Loves it. We've got tomatoes everywhere. I'm gonna get in here and we're gonna pick some. Look at my cherry tomatoes. I just picked these yesterday. Now, you can see that we have blight. I was looking at some other tomato plants yesterday that were not mine, and it was family members. Theirs have blight. So it's not just these. Theirs are spaced out further than mine. But what I did is I sprayed these with copper. Then I turned around as a last ditch effort, and over here I got to the worst plant, and I sprayed this plant with something called Daconil. Now you need to look up the ingredients, okay? Look at this. There's really nothing left to prune. But if you follow it along over here, it's got beautiful new green growth. I need to fertilize these. I think it will still outgrow it. That's your own choice, what you want to use for these plants. I just tried it. I've never tried it before, but I mean, you can obviously tell this is eaten up with blight. I mean, it is eaten up with blight, but the plant has not died yet. So that's good. I will show you one tomato here that's sun scalded. Look at that. Now he's got the fungus on him. It will eat your tomatoes. So you must get control of this. What I don't like is over here on this new little growth. Let's see if I can get him in the camera. Right there, see all the fungus on him? I have got to prune these again, but we're coming to a point, there's not much left to prune. So what am I going to do with this? I'm going to pick every green tomato that's healthy on here, wash these extremely well, and then we're going to turn around and can these. This past week I did the canned green tomatoes, and furthermore, I did salsa verde. I've never done that before. Guys, that was amazing. It's almost to the point, like, yeah, I like red tomatoes to eat fresh, but the green tomatoes really will put more bulk on your table. Honestly, if you're slicing these and canning these to fry, it will make a whole side during the winter instead of just diced tomatoes. At this point, to me, it would be worth it just to buy a $20 case of red tomatoes, can them like I did last year, because we had nothing last year, and have that to put in soups and stews. But otherwise, I love the green salsa. I love fried green tomatoes. Really? It's so, you know. But anyways, I've got to get out here and prune this again. But the green growth is still looking good. This plant here, I want you to see, this plant stretches 3 tomato cages. I mean, I've never in my life, y'all, seen anything like this, ever. And it's almost to the point, it's so massive and big, it's just, I expect this to go, okay? I expect this to go. Now, again, but see, there's beautiful green growth. I hit this with Daconil and copper. I was expecting this plant to die. It has not died yet. Even in that heat, I sprayed it. It says, don't do that in extreme heat. I did. I had no choice. The fungus on the leaves, to me, appears to have spread worse, but it's not on this new green growth, which is a good thing, which is a very good thing. So, you know, I don't know. It's already time to spray it again, but I have got to fertilize. I did not fertilize it. Now I've got Roma over here. This plant doesn't even look like Roma tomatoes. They're so huge. But see that? It starts getting on the tomatoes. That's why I'm telling y'all, go on and pick them now. Just pick it. You've got nothing to lose. It was starting to get on the new growth up here. I sprayed this one with Daconil as well, and it stopped. It stopped spreading. So just try it. You, like I said, look up the ingredients. See if you want to use something like that. That's up to you. I'm still sticking with the copper. I think the copper does well. I only sprayed these once, but it's keeping it off of the new green growth. My problem is with these plants, y'all, and I'm showing you the worst of the worst right here. They're so big. Sorry, I got roosters crowing. These are so big, I don't even know how to support these anymore. There's no way. I mean, I've got one branch that's just broke off. It's to the point, like, everything has a life cycle, and I understand that. It's to the point, I don't know how much further he can keep going. I've harvested so much off of this and gotten such a bounty. I really don't know how far he can keep on, and I'm okay with that. I really am. I mean, you know, I've gotten more tomatoes that I know what to do with. Green, whatever, red. We're eating red tomatoes every day. Got a few squash left down in here. I think the squash is getting ready to be pulled up. I left it. I'm sorry, y'all, somebody's laying an egg over in the coop. But, I mean, they're still going. They've got some disease going on, but these have been in the ground since April, so I'm okay with this. Everything has a life cycle. Now, I do want to show you back here these cucumbers and pole beans. I have never done that before. The internet said that they are great companion plants. I planted pole beans here because I had my Christmas pole lima beans over here, and I just wanted some rattlesnake pole snapping beans this year. So I intertwined them with the cucumbers. Cucumbers weren't doing great. I have never had cucumbers do this well. They are stretched from, I only have like 4 cucumber plants. They're stretched from the center all the way to the side over here. I have never seen cucumbers do this well for us in this spot, and this is where I always plant them. Cucumbers and beans love each other. You've got to watch for pests though. You've got to, because all the same kind of pests love these plants. We've had some Japanese beetles that have really wanted to eat these plants. Late at night, one night, I sprayed these with neem oil. Do not do that in the hot sun. You will burn up your plants. Neem oil can scald your plants. I've seen that all over the internet. Everybody's saying, what can we do? Our plants are burned. Neem oil burn. Do not do that in the direct sun. Make sure it's nighttime. It's going to be a little bit cooler. But guys, it kept them off. So I was thoroughly impressed with neem oil and Japanese beetles. And I've not seen anything else. So, but these plants back here, it's almost too thick. Like, I can't see what I'm getting after, and then you get into all this right there that I can't see. And I told you we'd had that scare with the timber rattler, so it's, you know. So let's take you over to the potting mix bed. We've got tomatoes everywhere, and let me show you. We've got something a little different going on over here as well. Peppers are Cadillacing. I've done stuffed jalapeno peppers. I've done cayenne dehydrated. I've done salsa. I've done, there's so much. There's so much, y'all. Woo, look at this. These are from Baker Creek. I don't even know what sunflowers I have. I'm letting them roll and just trying to see. Isn't that beautiful? Now, I've got a yellow one right here. He's beautiful. And I've got this one. We measured last week, it was 10 foot tall from the outside of the ground. The actual height of the plant was 8'10". Now it's 10 times taller than that. The actual height of that is going to be 10 foot. I don't know what these are, but I'm going to try my best to save seeds from these and plant these next year and just have like a confetti, I don't know what it is, type planting. Sunflowers, yeah, they waste space. I get it, it's not food. However, I've got pole beans that are running all along up the sunflower. So my theory was, let these pole beans climb these sunflowers and use these as an arch. So the other day, this was Saturday morning, today is Wednesday, I planted a row of pole beans. We ripped up all the bush beans in the potting mix bed. They were still going, more so than the raised bed over here with the topsoil, but I said, you know what? It's not doing as well. Let's rip it up. I have pole beans everywhere this morning. I'm gonna either let these run up this fence or they're gonna run up the sunflowers, whichever one. My biggest, most beautiful sunflower got knocked over in the wind. That's okay. Let me show you what else we got. Look at this beautiful yellow sun. Look at that. He is gorgeous. Gorgeous, y'all. So Let me walk all the way back. And you can see the potting mix bed a little bit better and what it entails. Because I really didn't show you when I first planted this because I didn't know it would work. Look at this. Now, I planted 2 rows of Clemson spineless okra. We have okra everywhere coming up. Okra loves heat. You can get out here and you can plant it. My theory, I've got 2 long rows of okra. These are gonna be 20-foot rows of okra. I'm gonna turn around once these get up about 1 foot in height. Everything Cadillacs in this potting mix bed because the soil is so loose. There is no soil, really. It's just a top layer. Everything sprouts and jumps quickly. I'm gonna plant pole beans all along this, and we're gonna have like a row of okra and pole beans. I'm going to try that. I don't know if that'll work, but we're gonna try. So there's more tomatoes over here. Now, I did not spray these last week when I sprayed everything else because I really thought the deconil and copper, I thought it was just going to take out my plants. I've still got blight spreading, but it's not as bad as in the other bed. The further south I get in the bed, the worse it gets. But guys, like, it's to the point, these are crossing, that plant is all the way over here at the top. There's no way to stake that up. There's no way. I have no means of doing that. I mean, there's a way, but there's no way that I can do it. Look at all the green growth. These have set blooms every day. Just little blooms everywhere. There's my lawn chair. I've been sitting out here enjoying my garden. I mean, just little tomatoes everywhere. But you can see down in the center, here's this blight. So I may spray these with deconil. The temps are down in the 80s this week. I ran out of copper. I mean, that copper bottle went quick. And here's a tip. Guys, I bought copper at Home Depot. Now, the bottle was probably twice the size of the second one I bought. It was like $27. I went to Walmart last week for the first time since before Easter, and I got a bottle. I know it was at least half the size of that, and it was $5.97. So if you go to Walmart, just check the price. It may be cheaper, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, look at this. We've got blooms and growth everywhere, but like I said, we're to the point that it's, you know, there's the bottom, as you would expect, and the wind have knocked these over. And then here's just, you know, we're just Cadillacing up here. That's above my head. That's just one branch. The other branches are just, I mean, it's really to the point, like, he's just fell over back here. It's no, you know, we've got some ripe ones, we've got green. Now, if you can see, there's my okra patch. He's Cadillacing. That okra right there, that's probably, I'm gonna say 10 foot in length. That's enough in 2 rows. 3 foot in width, 2 rows of okra. That feeds us all winter of fried okra if we pre-bred it. I mean, that's a lot of okra in that spot. But you see how tall the okra is? Then you go back and plant your pole beans, and I really feel like that will work. We've got peppers intertwined here. I cannot get over this bed, guys. I cannot get over it. It's just, that's my okra. I can't get over it. We've got one more sunflower here. I'm not even sure what he is. He's opening up. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we're gonna get out here. I'm gonna pick some tomatoes. I've got tons, and we're gonna start harvesting today again, and we're going to preserve this. I'm gonna do salsa. By the looks of it, I'm probably gonna can some more green tomatoes and some salsa verde. Again, I see no huge loss. If you've got tomato plant trouble, a lot of people do this anyways in the fall. If they've got perfect tomato plants, they'll pick these green tomatoes and they'll do all of this stuff because they don't want to lose their harvest. It's putting food on the table either way, whether it be green, red, and pretty much red tomatoes, all you can do is sauce, diced tomatoes, eat fresh. So it's not a total loss to can these green tomatoes in some shape, form, fashion. But we're gonna do that. I've got so much to do. Y'all, the potting mix bed, we've had the best success. But again, if something's not producing, turn around, rip it up, and plant. Just plant, because you've got nothing to lose. I never would have thought that okra and field peas would have germinated in both of these. And pole beans, rattlesnake pole beans would have germinated in that heat in these beds, but they did. So, guys, that's That's what it is. Now, I did lay down in my rows, as I always do before I planted these, triple 13 fertilizer. 13-13-13. Covered it up, don't let it touch your seed. Then go back and then plant your seed, cover it up. That's what we did. It's germinated beautifully. You can do it, you can do it. So that's what we're doing today. The corn we will be picking this weekend if weather permits. And I mean, we're looking at least 500 ears. That's gonna be a lot of work, a lot of work. So here you go. By far, again, the best looking tomatoes. You can see the results. The cattle panel, that's it. I mean, the cattle panel is the way to go. I don't know how many I'll be planting in cages next year compared to this, because this looks good. This looks really good. I can't get over the okra, y'all. I can't get over that, not in this heat. I cannot. The germination, because that's the hardest time for the plant. You can baby it once it's an adult, but to get it to germinate in this heat and not even have the soil tilled, just doing it with a hoe. I'm telling you, that right there, that's the way to go. Look at that. Okay, get out here, garden. Got a video coming up to you on salsa verde. So if you've never done that before, I got a little braver this year. We canned salsa. Guys, we're rocking. We're rocking. We're gonna keep on going. If it's not producing, rip it up, plant something else. You've got nothing to lose except your time. We'll see you next time on Harmon Homestead.